Hi everyone, so in this video we are going to be talking about regression. So a regression line, also called a trend line on Excel, which we'll get to in a little bit, is a line for which the sum of the squares of the difference between the line and each point is at a minimum. So that part kind of sounds bad, but essentially just the line that best fits into a scatter plot of data. It takes the distance from the line and every point, squares it, and it tries to minimize every single one of those. Right? So you can use the regression line to predict values so long as they're within the range of the original data. As in, if you have data on people from heights 5'6" to 6'2", the regression line would not give a meaningful value for someone who is 6'7". If you had somebody that was 5'9", for example, within that range, then the regression line would actually give you a pretty good estimate of whatever you're talking about, maybe weights of those people. All right, so on to an example. We're going to look at example 3 first. Find the regression line of the data in example 1, the ice cream stand from the last video, and use it to predict the values of the following. Part A, the sales when the temperature is 21 degrees Celsius, and part B, the sales when the temperature is 10 degrees Celsius. Okay, so once again, we're going to go back over to Excel. So back on Excel, back on example 1, and we already made the scatter plot in the first video. So if you need to see how to make the scatter plot, make sure you watch that first video. But essentially it is just highlighting all of the data. You go up to Insert, Scatter Plot, and you will get this. Right? So here's what we want to do. We want to go to the plus. It shows all the different things that you can put on your scatter plot. And we want to check trend line. That trend line is actually the line that best fits this data. Excel actually did the regression for us. Right? However, just looking at that line is not very accurate. So we are going to want to get the exact values of exactly what the equation of that line is. So next step is we are going to click just the trend line itself, and specifically we want to double click it. Once you double click it, I will move over to the right so you can see what comes up. So on the right hand side, you should see Format Trend Line come up, and you might be in one of these. This is just the options for how the trend line looks. We're not really interested in that. You can make it look as pretty as you want, but for our purposes, we are going to be wanting the numbers. So to actually get the numbers, all the way down at the end, we are going to see Display Equation on Chart. That is the one we want to click. And then looking back at our actual scatter plot, you can see that it actually gives us the equation of it. The equation in this case, it says is y equals 30.088x minus 159.47. That is the exact equation of our regression line. All right? That is what we're going to use in order to be able to answer parts A and B of this question. So part A says we want to predict the values of the sales when the temperature is 21 degrees Celsius. So 21 would be somewhere, say, around here. And if we look up, we don't actually have a value for 21 degrees. In fact, there's not even anything in that immediate vicinity. However, what we're going to do is we're going to plug it in to our equation, and that's going to give us our answer. All right? So all we're going to do is we're going to do y equals 30.088, and instead of x, we're going to put in our value. So in this case, our value was 21 that we're wanting to look at, and subtract the 159.47. This you can just plug into your calculator. So if you plug this into your calculator, you should get that y equals, or is approximately, because let's round to say 2 decimal places, 472.38, and that would be dollars in our case. But so we can use it to approximate if the temperature is approximately 21 degrees. Again, this is Celsius, but 21 degrees Celsius, we can assume that we're going to make somewhere around $472. And again, this is not exact. It's not going to perfectly predict the future, but it does give you a really good estimate. Right? Now, if we look at Part B says sales when the temperature is 10 degrees Celsius. So this time, if we want to look at 10 degrees, that's over here. If you notice, our data stops right here. We don't have anything down that low. So, because of that, we say that 10 is not going to give us a meaningful value. And that's just our answer. We don't actually have to plug it in. If the x value that we're given is within the range, then yes, absolutely we need to plug it in. We need to see exactly what value would come out of it as an approximation. But for, again, in this case, it was x equals 10. We say that it is not meaningful. Meaning that we don't have data down there, so that's just even worse than a guess at that point. So we don't actually put those in, just the ones that are within our range. Those are our best predictions. All right, so let's look at number 4. So number 4 says find the regression line of the data in example 2, the casino one. Use it to predict the values of the following. Money left if they spent 25 minutes at the casino, and money left if they spent 70 minutes at the casino. So again, let's go back to our same Excel that we already made the scatter plot for it and start working this out. All right, so here was our number 2. And we did already make that scatter plot as well. So again, same idea. I'm going to click anywhere on the scatter plot and click the plus. And we're first going to check trend line. That gets this line right there onto our scatter plot. Double click the line. On the right hand side, you'll see the format trend line, and just at the very bottom, click display equation on chart again. And in this case, it gives us y equals negative 19.651x plus 1331.3. That is going to be our regression formula. So that's the actual equation of the line that is the best fit for this data. With that, we're going to answer parts A and B again. So for part A, it says money left if they spent 25 minutes at the casino. So 25 minutes is a little more right than that. somewhere right about here. So we're looking for, if they spent 25 minutes, about how much money would they expect to have whenever they leave after that 25 minutes. So again, for this one, we're just going to plug it in. Nothing crazy or anything like that. It's just going to be y equals negative 19.651. And then we plug in the 25. And plus 1331.3. All right, again, put that in your calculator, and the calculator says that it is 840.03 if we go ahead and round off to 2 decimal places. So if they spent 25 minutes at the casino, they would expect to leave with about $840 out of their $1,000 that they originally started with. All right, for part B. Part B says money left if they spent 70 minutes at the casino. So 70, if you look at our scatter plot, it actually only goes up to 60. Which means 70 would be somewhere way over here, which means it is definitely not within our range. It's not on the scatter plot. We don't have any values that are very close to that. So for x equals 70, we're not going to plug it in. We're just going to say that that's not meaningful. And that's all you have to do for that one. So again, only plug it in if your x value is within the x values that you already have. All right. With that said, that is all for regression. Again, let Excel do the work for you in this case. There are other ways to get this line, including do it by hand, which I would not recommend. But if you have a TI-83 or 84 calculator, they can also do it. There are different tools that you can use, but since we are using Excel for so much stuff in this course anyway, and we're already using it for the correlation, we might as well also use it for the regression line, and it's easy enough. Again, click it, click the plus, trend line, and then double click the trend line. And on the right-hand side, go ahead and check the display equation on chart. That is all you have to do. That will give you your equation that you can use to plug in values. All right. If you have any questions, please contact me. Otherwise, that is the end of these notes. All right. Thank you.